Picture this, a little girl sitting on the tailgate of a 1989 Dodge Ram pickup truck, little legs swinging over the edge. Her grandfather sits beside her, telling her stories about ghosts, wars, hard times, good neighbors, and how to overcome adversity. In this moment, one of many, family history was passed down to the next generation. In case you haven't guessed it, that little girl was me. I grew up listening to my grandfather's stories, and as I grew up, I realized that many people in my family didn't know about our history. Everyone should make an effort to learn more about their family's story because it helps you develop a sense of identity. It makes you more resilient, and it keeps the memory of those who have passed on alive. During the course of this speech, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my family. It's my hope that by telling you a few of my stories, it'll make you more interested in learning about your own. I would first like to talk about how learning about your family's history enables you to develop a sense of identity. According to Lois Collins in the article, a third of Americans can't name all four of their grandparents. Here's why it matters, which was published on Deseret.com on January 22, 2019. People who, quote, know their family histories and feel a sense of connection to previous generations of family show greater emotional well-being and a more developed sense of personal identity than those who don't, end quote. Knowing about where you came from helps you understand who you are. In the article, Why We Need Family History Now More Than Ever, which was written by an unknown author on FamilySearch.org on September 26, 2017, the author states that, quote, the way we relate to our family stories and create our own narratives about ourselves helps establish our unique, authentic core identity, end quote. For example, thanks to family stories, I know that in the year 1620, a deckhand named Thomas Wiggins jumped off his ship and literally swam to the New World. William Wiggins fought in the Revolutionary War, and his son Elijah fought in the War of 1812. Elijah's son, who was also named William, fought in the Civil War and was present at the battles of Pickett's Charge, Gettysburg, Little Round Top, and the Battle of the Wilderness. Because of family stories, I know that I've been born into a family of fighters, and I'm proud to know that my family has fought for their beliefs time and time again. This is a part of my identity, and it's something that I can't and wouldn't change. Next, I would like to talk about how learning about your family history makes you more resilient. When facing impossible odds, it's nice to know that someone in the past has faced worse and survived. According to the article 5 Benefits of Knowing Your Family History, which was published on selecthealth.org by an unknown author on an unknown date, knowing these stories can, quote, definitely give you the courage you need to keep going and make you more resilient when you're facing challenges, end quote. Learning about your family's stories allows you to see your ancestors' victories and defeats, the times they fell down and the times they rose again. In many cases, these stories can give you the courage you need to face your own battles, but if you don't know them, they can't help you. My grandfather grew up in the aftermath of the Great Depression. To say that he and his family were poor is an understatement. In the summer, you can find him and his siblings out in the fields picking cotton. One week, he picked 200 pounds of cotton a day. He was paid $25, most of which was used to pay for the high school tuition of he and a few of his siblings. I've seen the mountains that my grandfathers had to climb, and it gives me hope because my mountains look small by comparison. Finally, I would like to discuss how knowing about your family's history keeps the memory of those who have passed on alive. Telling their stories allows you to feel close to the people you've lost, and you're able to learn from them. How many people have been forgotten because their stories weren't told? Telling these stories also helps us. We've all lost someone we care about, but I've found that when we tell their stories or talk about them, it feels like they're nearby. In a sense, they are. Because of my grandfather, I'm able to pass on the stories of people I've never met. Uncle Tom Rachel lost his hand in a cotton gin. Everyone has had one of those crazy uncles, and my family's no exception. My great-great-great Uncle Andrew was once arrested for riding his mule through a church. My great-grandmother, she used to live in a haunted house. She would find blood in the dishes every morning, and ghosts would walk up and down the halls at night. I feel connected to people who've died decades before I was born because I know their stories. Their memory is kept alive because I care about them and what they lived through. Today, we've talked about how knowing your family's history helps you develop a sense of identity. It makes you more resilient, and it keeps the memory of those who have passed on alive. So ask your grandparents about their childhood. Find out about your crazy uncles. Find out where you came from. Ghosts, wars, hard times, and good neighbors. This is just a piece of my story, a part of what makes me who I am. Now the question is, who are you?